Hello? Is this thing on? Hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you for joining. Let me know if the volumes are alright. I have some background music going, as you could obviously hear. But really the main thing is my just lovely voice. I want to be able to hear that. I hope you guys are ready to ask me some questions. I hope you have your chart tickers ready. I just hope you're ready for a stream. So before I really talk a lot, I want to mention that if you were there for last stream, I was complaining of a sore throat and being a general, what's the word? Some would definitely consider that I was being a little bit of a pussy, and complaining of a sore throat, but it turns out I am sick. So, if I pause and just mute randomly, I'm just coughing up a lung. Really nothing to worry about, but just keep that in mind. All right. So let's get to it. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Is it all over? Are we going to bounce? Is Sailor going to save us? Is Donald Trump going to save us? Is J Powell going to save us? All right. So let's get into it. So with Bitcoin, really not much has changed. Yesterday was a weird day. I posted in the Haven at the end of the day. Like, really not much happened outside of that Pengu pump. Not much happened. Alts bled a little bit. Bitcoin kind of went sideways for the most part. Bounced at this H1 support and resistance flip, but really nothing happened. Now we are back approaching this H1 consolidation period before the move up. So in general, a bounce here would be nice, but price has already bounced from here twice already. Maybe a third time if you really consider that. I wouldn't, but if you do, fine. So in general, really not much has changed with my thoughts on Bitcoin. I really would like to see a larger bounce from down here. The reason for that is because we have some higher time frame confluence at this 99.1k level. Also, we smashed through the level without really any resistance on the way up on the higher time frame, and as well as the hourly. Like, not much really happened at this level considering how important the level was. So I just like to see a retest there. I think it also would clean up a lot of these untapped lows in here, which would be ideal. And I think that would be a buying opportunity. Also, as you guys know from, Twitter or the Haven, I'm more of a reactionary trader. So really, I'd like to see a reaction from this level. Now, it doesn't need to be an immediate bounce. It could consolidate for a few hours here. It could consolidate below the level for a few hours and then a reclaim, which would be the strongest argument. I would long this reclaim. But really just any kind of reaction, I'd like to see buyers step in at that level. Okay. That's essentially it for Bitcoin. I mean, we'll see what today brings. It looks like it may be a little bit of a red day. I mean, alts are already just like puking, and Bitcoin really hasn't done much in general. So yeah, we'll take a look at altcoins, of course, but that's my general thought on Bitcoin. Pretty straightforward, to be honest. Even though I haven't necessarily traded it much, the analysis has been straightforward. I think really the opportunity has come from altcoins, and the even cleaner setups has come from altcoins. And then you just get a general bias from Bitcoin and go from there. So let's go to ETH. I'm sure people, for whatever reason, care about ETH now because price is up. Nice. Wow, would you look at that? Price has rejected from my level. Was there a trade opportunity that came from that? Let's see. Yeah, maybe. But again, Ethereum is actually cleaner than Bitcoin in terms of the level to buy. The level to buy on Ethereum is going to be around the 2350s. You can just see from this H1 consolidation period, the flip of the H1 level there as well. So anywhere below here is probably going to be my buy zone. Okay, that's pretty much it for Ethereum. On lower time frames, I mean, the hourly isn't giving me much. The H4, maybe here. You could argue there's a deviation below this level. Reclaim of a level. Now this is going to be the retest of the level. So maybe a bounce from here. That's also a possibility. If we don't see that 2350 level, 2360, whatever, somewhere in there. So, yeah, we'll see. What's your take on Pengu? I will go over that because it is a long position that I'm still in. Let's see if I'm stopped by this point. No, I'm not. Okay. So, unfortunately, my take profit 2 missed by like 1%. Oh, God. 0.6% even. Pengu was really interesting, actually. So, I entered... I want to say here. I believe here. Gave a retest of the entry. Shot to take profit 1, which was somewhere in here. Great. But weirdly... when I tweeted Pengu yesterday, I noticed so many people post about it, which was really weird. I don't know if it was one of those things where there was literally nothing going on in the market, and maybe people like saw my post or saw Pengu is actually green on the day and they decided to post about it too. But I thought that was super weird. So I would say that definitely helped my long position, and it just launched to take profit 1, which is nice. As you can see here, take profit 2 just slightly missed, which is painful. Should I have closed this? Probably. I probably should have closed when price reclaimed the H1 consolidation period, which is really the base of my argument. At this point, I'll just wait for the invalidation to hit. It's fine. Take profit 1 hit, so it is what it is. And I mean, what can you do? What can you do? Just one of those things. I'm not going to sit here and get upset about it. I really did nail the trade. So it is what it is. We'll see if price hits the invalidation. If not, obviously I'll continue to hold. Maybe even, let's just remove this just for a second so we could draw on it without the distraction. So if we get some kind of consolidation period down here, I mean, it's just going to be such an easy long setup yet again. So I'll take it probably from here yet again. So consolidation, this would classify as consolidation in my eyes. But if we go sideways for another few hours, reclaim the level, I would take that long again and take profit again. Take profit 1 would probably be here. Something like that. So we'll see if it happens. And even if this trade does get stopped out, I am still interested in Pengu, just because it was a runner and it's going to be top of mind for people. So let's just say in a world, let's delete this again. In a world where just everything fails and Pengu rolls over from here, perfectly fine, no problem. Let's go to the H4 chart and try and highlight some levels. I could already see levels that are jumping out at me here. Extend that to the right. Decent. Could that be any better? Let's go here. So really what I'm doing when I'm looking for these key levels that I always talk about is I'm looking for the most amount of candle bodies, wicks, and really just general action at that level that I can get, right? So as you can see, what I did there, I went from there, where you can see the line is, to here. right? Which is such a minor change. But I get these two candle bodies here and then really nothing else, right? But then if I... Okay, now it's just not going to work again. Damn, that would have been cool. Now, all I did was move it a little bit lower and I get even more action at that level, right? Where I have candle bodies here, 3 candle bodies, another candle body, wicks into the level, more candle bodies to the right, wicks into the level, wick above the level with closing below, 2 wicks perfectly tapping the level, and now I extend that to the right, right? So all I'm looking for is just the most amount of candle touches, wicks and bodies possible, and that make the most sense. Right, I'm not just going to put a line somewhere like here just because there's a ton of touches there. You know, it needs to make sense. So you can see on the H1, perfect levels, wonderful. So if and when Pengu does roll over, I would like to see some action at this level. Again, that action could just be consolidation at the level, chopping at the level, consolidation below the level, reclaim long setup would be a no-brainer long. Maybe a wick at the level and then consolidation above before another leg up, something like that. Okay, so that's generally what I look for there. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me take a sip of water. All right. Oh, Soul. Yeah, let's talk about Soul. Okay, so Soul, I already discussed these 2 daily levels where price has rejected from, so no need to discuss that really, just the breakout point here, another breakout point, wicks into the level, bodies into the level, everything I look for, great. On lower time frames, Soul is rolling over a bit. Let me just look at the H4 before I get caught up in the hourly. Let's delete that. Okay. Highlight this, extend to the right, great. H4 consolidation is all I'm highlighting there, extending that to the right. Let's go to the hourly, see if that makes sense. Does make sense. H1 breakout point, great. Would this wick be better? No. Yeah, okay. All right. So with Soul, we have a clear H1 level. Look at all these interactions with the level. Okay. Price broke the level, reclaimed the level. So all of the liquidity here was swept. Great. Well, now what? Well, now price is going back to the level. We are now retesting the key H1 level. So really, this is a pivotal point for Soul, right? It could either print another decent long setup where I would take something like this. Take profit 1 would be around there. Right? Something like that. My invalidation is the low before the reclaim of the level. But let's say, I don't know, as an example, Soul dives a little bit lower, sweeps this low here. All I would do is use the low wherever it would be here as my invalidation point for that long setup. Now, if that doesn't happen, and again, we get some consolidation at the level here, because this is an H1 breakout point, I am also interested in action at this level. Right, so that could be a perfectly fine entry trigger as well. losing this H1 level would make me just not interested in a long position, where it's one of those things where I don't care what happens below here. It could do whatever. But if we come back into the level, consolidate below, reclaim, that would just be a no-brainer long setup in there. But Sol honestly doesn't look that bad, especially if we hold right here. I would probably take that long, like I said, something like this. Something like that. So we'll see. I'll keep that in my mind though. You gave good insight on Pepe yesterday. Thank you. And it would be cool to have realistic targets if possible. I think you're more transparent while others just follow for a W. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. So let's talk about Pepe then. Because we got another request for Pepe. Which one is Pepe? Of course, the last one. Oh, yeah. I was so close to long the Pepe here. Obviously, I didn't. I was really close to long the Pepe. But I think that, well, let's talk about higher time frame first and how I came to that conclusion. Higher time frame, you saw me discuss it yesterday on Twitter, but 2 levels, daily breakout point here, daily breakout point here. Okay. You really need to play stuff like this level to level on the daily. I think it's just so much easier. I don't know why people don't do it. So the argument is very simple when you're playing level to level on the daily chart or higher time frames. If price is above this level, I'm looking for longs. It's pretty straightforward. So price is above this level on the daily, so I'm looking for a long position. Now from that point, I break it down to lower time frames. And I see what I could possibly do to get into a long position. Is there a setup brewing? What's happening on the Pepe chart? So a few things here on the H4. A few things here on the H4, right? So how should I talk about this? Well, okay. The first setup, that would probably be the best setup, or one of the best setups I discuss, is consolidation below this daily level. Okay. In general, it's pretty obvious, and I've discussed it so much. The patterns I look for, I have a video on it as well, by the way, if you want to check it out. The patterns I look for is generally that. So any amount of confluence I could find with a pattern that kind of looks like this, or there's a similar idea to this, is something I'm interested in. Okay. So when I have daily confluence with that kind of pattern, that's like an A+ setup. So something like this, where we have a daily chart just below price, that's very enticing to me, where if I see the consolidation below the level and then a reclaim, I'll typically size a little bit higher because I have that extra layer of confluence with the daily level. Okay? But don't be confused that I would only wait for that setup, because that may never come, right? That just may never happen. So I need to adapt and come up with another argument, because again, higher time frame, price is above this level, so I'm looking for a long. Okay, that's one setup. The next setup I have is on the hourly time frame, where I have a key H1 level where it's a breakout point, lots of wicks, lots of bodies into the level, lots of consolidation at the level. Great. Again, think back to the pattern I just drew out up here. That's happening. Well, at least one half is happening here. where price is consolidating below a key level. Okay, so now all I have to do is wait for the reclaim. Then if and when that reclaim happens, I'm in a long position. That's it. That's it. So something like this, let's just say as an example, that's my long entry. The invalidation point typically is going to be the low before the reclaim. And then take profit one would be, I don't know, somewhere in here. Fresh local highs. Does that make sense? Was that a good explanation? So, yeah, that would be the general thought process for Pepe. In terms of realistic, what did you ask? Realistic targets if possible. Again, just level to level on the daily time frame. The next daily level is going to be 21% higher at 0.016. So to me, that's a realistic price target, and I really don't want to think much above that. Right? I could come up with another daily level. That's perfectly fine. Maybe something like that. So to the next daily level, you have another 9%. But that's generally how I do things. I really don't rush into having like these insane daily targets. I think it... how do I want to phrase it? I think it could be damaging at times to have some like insane price target on a higher time frame, because it could force you to bag hold, and it could force you to only see the positive price action, and you don't see like glaringly obvious negative signals. So yeah, that's just for me, but that's how I approach that. All right, nice. Whiff, great suggestion. I did see, I asked because I'm a spot and not a trader, you know. Yeah, of course. That's perfectly fine. I don't think there's really much of a difference. Spot is great. You have a more higher time frame point of view, in my opinion. But still, if price is above the level, you're holding. If price is below, you're cutting. So the next level of interest is plus 20%, like I said. Maybe take some profit off there. Fine, do whatever you want to do. Watch for the interaction, see what happens, and kind of go from there. Anyway, whiff. I did see you ask about whiff on Twitter. I was going to post a chart on it. I probably will later anyway. Where is it? It's probably right in front of me. There it is. Oh, baby. Nice. So I said that because of this consolidation in here. Yeah, nice. That's a really good level for whiff. Let me delete this crap. H4, H1 consolidation. Okay. Yeah, that's really nice. So whiff, I'm interested in here. What is this? So 0.915-ish, somewhere in there. So something like this. Is there a level where I'd buy if that doesn't hit? does that look like? Yeah, maybe above here. 1.08. Maybe. A couple wicks into the level bodies. Clearly a level where buyers were stepping in at several points. It's also the breakdown point, consolidation below before the leg down. So yeah, that could work as well. So above there I would long. I don't know, something like that. Well, I'm also super interested in Mudang, which no one has asked about yet, which is perfectly fine. I'll talk about it anyway. So Mudang, I was actually really, really close to longing this right here, which obviously wouldn't have gone well. I think my setup would have been, yeah, that. Obviously wouldn't have gone well. Fine. Didn't take it because, like after the daily close yesterday, I put an update in the Haven and I said, just feels off, feels weird. I don't have like good vibes. I think the price action today was pretty boring. Alts look weird, so I didn't end up taking anything. I was just chilling in the longs I was already in, so didn't end up taking it, which is great. But now Mudang could give an even better setup with this H1 consolidation period here, H1 breakout point, extend that to the right, price is now interacting with that level. So if we get some consolidation at this level, chop. If we get a bounce at this level, I will definitely look to long something like this. So again, my invalidation really depends on the low, wherever the low is before the reclaim of whatever key level I'm looking for. Okay, so that's the invalidation will change depending on what happens here. But let's just say it's something like this. Take profit 1, ideally, I would like to take, I guess, right where it is. So somewhere in here, probably. Because it's a sweep of all of these highs in here. Something like that. So I'll be monitoring that throughout the day. Absolutely. Super interested in it. Even if this would be an even better setup, as I've said like so many times now, but consolidation up below the level with a reclaim would be ideal. Something like that would be perfect. So we'll see how today goes. And my OBS just DC'd. I don't know if, let's see if the stream DC'd too. I think it did. I think we're back though. I don't know why that happened. Maybe that should be a warning sign that Bitcoin's about to roll over. Okay. All right. Pengu's still holding up. How about Popcat? Ooh. Nice. Oh, okay. Popcat. Very interesting. I've been waiting for Popcat to be below here. Thank goodness I checked. So Popcat, what is this, a daily level? Yeah. Daily breakout point, daily support and resistance flip. Great. H4, does that look nice? Yep. H4 breakout point, support and resistance flip. Wonderful. Okay. So I've been waiting for Popcat to be below here. The reason for that is this H1 consolidation period here. So I'm sure you already know the setup I'm looking for, but this consolidation period is very, very enticing. So if and when price breaks above here, that will most likely be what I take. Very simple. Nothing crazy. I should be checking ALTCOIN as well, because I believe it's approaching my fart box, as I said in the Haven. Let me delete all this crap. Actually drink some water. Stay healthy here. All right, so ALTCOIN is now retesting the H1 consolidation period before the move up here. So of course I'm automatically interested. It has not retested. Well, I mean, maybe it has here. But in general, it didn't really spend much time at the H1 consolidation. So very interested in ALTCOIN. Very interested. Again, whatever happens here is how I will base my argument. Like maybe if we just bounce from here, I'll wait for a reclaim of this. If we consolidate a little bit lower, I'll wait for a breakout of the consolidation period along that. But this is one of those levels where, and one of the charts really, where I just probably will watch it all day and see how price develops and see when my opportunity to strike presents itself and take the position based on that. So see, sometimes it takes a little bit for your A+ setups to develop, but when they do, you could typically risk a little bit more because you know it's your A+ setup. And it just feels a lot less stressful. Because when you enter into a bad setup, you're just naturally going to be more stressed out about it. And if you're instantly underwater after entering, you'll definitely be a lot more stressed. But with an A+ setup, you can kind of breathe a little bit, let price do its thing, and then see what happens. Let's see, what else? Let's look at Bitcoin while I'm seeing what else we could take a look at. I'm still in this long position. Hit 2 take profits already, so just chilling. Waiting to see what happens. Looking to compound this SUI position, maybe above there. We're getting the consolidation below right now, so on that reclaim, I'll probably compound a little bit. Something like that, or this probably. There. Something like that. Obviously, invalidation always subject to change depending on where the low is set, but general ideas right there. Look to compound that long a little bit. Doge. Doge is tough because it's consolidating directly below a daily level. So it's really difficult. So this is actually a good example. So in a position like this where, let's say in a world just in general, this was a lot cleaner, all the price action in here. I really can't, most of the time I really don't enter into the position on my typical like H1 consolidation retest setup. So when price is like pinned below a daily level or price is relatively close to a daily level, I typically just wait for that daily level reclaim to enter. And I'm usually pretty scared of daily levels when price is below them. Daily levels are huge, and higher time frame the better. So high time frame levels are really important. So you should respect them. They should be respected. White charts, my eyes, damn. I've had these charts for like 7 or 8 years. Now I feel like I just can't change my chart layout. This is just my identity. Someone asked me about ALTCOIN on Twitter, and I almost smashed my keyboard. I just don't know why you would even be looking at ALTCOIN anymore. Watch, like, this is going to be a clip that Bob Johns is going to bring up, like, I don't know, a year from now when ALTCOIN is like $500, where I could have just bought the Pico bottom here, but there's just a lot better looking charts. Now, I guess this is a fine setup. Approaching a daily consolidation period, fine. But again, if this kind of setup was on something that was like an interesting coin, like Fartcoin, like Moodang, like Popcat, something that's been moving a lot lately. Oh no, that was me. I asked about ALTCOIN on Twitter a few days ago. Oh no. I'm caught in the act. But in general, that's awkward. Why would I? What is the interest? All right, I feel like you could just look at any other hot altcoin chart and you'll have much cleaner setups. Watch, now every time I do a chart spam, people are going to ask me about ALTCOIN. So do you know what I mean? I feel it's just so much easier to trade when you're trading the hot coins. And you're not trading just like the older stuff that people obviously still care about ALTCOIN. That's perfectly fine. That's great. But I'm a trader and I'm more attracted to where the money is flowing and where, yeah, I guess the capital is flowing, where the interest is, really. I think that's a huge aspect of trading that people tend to overlook at times. Where you just have a much easier time just trading what's hot and what's cool. Let's take a look at AVAX. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, is this a daily level too? Oh, baby. Okay. So, AVAX has potential to do one of those daily setups I was talking about. Right, where we have the H1 consolidation period just above the daily level. Okay, so if and when there's going to be some consolidation below here and then a reclaim of the level, typically I'd size a little bit higher on that long position because I have the daily level confluent with what I'm looking for. Now, in a perfect world, I would see action closer to the daily level, really so that I could use that daily level. I can incorporate that daily level into my invalidation point. So let's say if price continues to nuke lower, which it looks like it will, perfect. I could use that daily level, so it's something like this. Let's say, I don't know, the long would be something like this. Depending on the low of the consolidation here is my invalidation point, then take profit 1. Something like that would be perfectly fine. So I really love to incorporate daily levels or higher time frame levels into my overall arguments and really into my invalidation points. I think with that, it allows me to size up a bit more than I typically would. So AVAX is another one to watch throughout the day. So we'll see what happens throughout the day with Bitcoin. If we leg a little bit lower, if buyers start to step in here. But really, I wouldn't be too comfortable until Bitcoin reclaims in here. Like if we're going to be stuck in here, I'm not going to diddle around in here. So if price is above, obviously I'll feel a little bit better. But if price does sell off and sell through this level, again, interested in this level of down here from this consolidation period, confluent with a daily level. But to me, this is one of those classic areas for Bitcoin where it's just worth it to just not get involved and just kind of see what happens and go from there. So, yeah, good times in the market. Lots of red across the market. All I see there is just lots of opportunity. And I guess we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the market gives us. Ooh, what about hype? Damn. Not giving much, is it? Not giving much. So really the main watch list for me today is going to be Popcat. Wow, Bob Johns, we are in sync. I was just about to say my top 3 alts to buy on this dip, depending on if they reclaim their levels or not. Popcat, ALTCOIN, and Mudang. That is going to be my watch list for the day. In addition to that, I will take a look at AVAX. Thoughts on virtuals? Is that this? What in the hell is going on here? Okay. That's perfectly fine. Daily breakout point. So you're looking to short once it lost around 1.76. That's probably where I would look to long. So because I have the daily breakout point, which you just saw, I have the H4 breakout point end consolidation period in there. I have this entire consolidation period to work with as well. So really your short would be directly into the H4 consolidation period and the daily level. So obviously I'm not telling you what to do. Do whatever you would like. But for me personally, in the setups I look for, I would look for a long. With something like this. Yep, so that's pretty much it. Pretty much it. Lots of opportunity. That's all I see. Lots of opportunity. Lots of H4 levels being retested. Lots of hourly consolidation period being retested. Lots of daily levels being retested with confluence. So, I think if you are getting overly bearish here, you're kind of missing the point. And this should be seen as opportunity. Cato, if we have 5 more minutes. You know what? Sure. What in the hell is going on here? Will this really help me? No, that's down 21%. Let's not get crazy. Is Brett listed on a centralized exchange? What a disgusting chart this is. What is going on here? Is the hourly any better? And everything's frozen. Nice. That's good. Thank you, TradingView. Oh, we're back. Is anything... It's on Bybit. Okay, cool. I'll take a look then. Well, I think for Kato, the level 2 reclaim is going to be 1.9. I think that is the H4 breakout point. Now, unfortunately, with something like that is, as you can see, it has reclaimed it several times and has done nothing with it. So to me, that says that price needs liquidity to the downside in order to really break the highs and go for a fresh local high. So in that case, I would look for a reaction within this area here. Now that's a pretty wide area. What is it? Pretty wide area of like 4.5%. So you can't just set blind bids within that entire thing. I would prefer to pinpoint an entry a bit more. But that's the general thought on Kato, is it needs a bit lower to break local highs. So ideally, something like this action copy pasted here would be great. I would be a little bit scared to long this, which would be the pretty obvious setup, because retests of the H1 level with an validation point below the low before the reclaim. That would be the obvious long, and I would be really scared to long something like that because you don't have much support below here, below your invalidation here. So I would like a little bit more support, a little bit more action below here somewhere to give you a better invalidation point. But in general, I think it needs a little bit lower. Okay, another one. At a key daily level. Right? Where this could be a prime setup, depending on how the next few hourly candles go. If you get a few hourly candles below here and then a reclaim, I think you have a prime long setup. Honestly, even if it reclaims here, I would probably take a stab at that. Or, wait a minute. I don't like the look of those wicks. Let's see here. Okay. So I probably would still long the reclaim, but I really wouldn't be comfortable in the position until 0.07 was fully reclaimed and price was comfortably above that. Until that happened, I would be a little bit uncomfortable. But really, the beautiful thing about a daily level like this is if today isn't the day where we see a reclaim, maybe, I don't know, we spend a few days below this daily level here, fine, whatever. That doesn't mean the reclaim is going to be any less invalid. So it doesn't really matter what happens below here. I mean, obviously it does. For long arguments, it does. But it doesn't really matter how long it takes. If it takes longer, that's probably better for the overall argument in terms of the consolidation argument. So it wouldn't be a bad thing. So continue to watch these daily levels, even if today is not the day where it reclaims. You've been looking for H1 consolidations under key H4 levels. Would the same logic and setup apply to H4 consolidation below key D1 levels? Yes. The same exact logic would apply. And I would allocate more overall risk to that argument because it is a reclaim of a higher time frame level with the daily level. So it's actually a stronger overall argument. But when there's market conditions that are a little bit more aggressive and things aren't really spending enough time to even consolidate much on the H4, that's when I have to use the H1. So that's why I've been looking for a lot of H1 consolidations under key H4 levels, because that's what the market's offering right now. So that's probably where I'll end it. That's a good spot to end it. These streams will be weekly, so I hope you enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the discussion. I think we covered a lot. I think I liked it. Good conversation. I appreciate you all for being here. If you don't follow me on Twitter for whatever reason, just drop me a follow, please. Just give me the dopamine. Drop me a follow. What else? Engage with my tweets. That is lovely dopamine. But I really hope you find value in what I post, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. So if you have any further questions, comments, any other tickers that I didn't go over that you'd like me to see, just tag me on Twitter and I'll get it done for you. And yeah, I'll talk with you guys during the next stream or on Twitter. Have a great day. Have a great weekend.